Yay! Ta-da! Hi, I'm Rupal. How are you all? It feels bizarre that 2023 is finally ending. Like, I feel as if I just made my top 10 books of 2022 yesterday, and now it is suddenly top 10 books of or top 8 books of 2023. Like, the whole year was just a blur for me because it was only, exams. Nothing else happened that I can actually recall. I only remember giving my CA foundation exam, my first semester exam, my second semester exam, and now I'm going to give my third semester exam. The whole year just happened. So yeah, let's talk about my top 8 books of 2023. This year I actually read 26 books. I did not set a reading goal. I just read whatever I felt like because I did not have to reach a goal. I did not have to read just for the sake of reading, and I think it was a pretty good reading year. There are 2 books that almost made the list but didn't because I gave them 4.75 stars and 4.5 stars. The first book is Your Name by Magda Shinkai. This book felt as if I was reading the exact thoughts that were going on in the characters' minds in the movies. It was obviously exactly like the script of the movie, but I could just read their innermost thoughts and what they were feeling at a particular scene. And yeah, this was just really a special book. It was perfect for rainy day season, so yeah, that is a rainy day recommendation for you. The second book is Our Wives Under the Sea. I was honestly creeped out while reading this book. It just, oh god. First of all, I do not like all-consuming blackness, like the black in space. It just really frightens me. One of the main characters, Leah, she is basically a deep sea diver or something who goes to the deepest part of the oceans to research about the things that she finds there. On one such trip, her submarine actually fails to work and eventually reaches this deepest part of the ocean floor. Basically, she and her crew are stuck there. They cannot communicate to the outside world, they cannot ask for help, and their whole surrounding is just black. They cannot see outside, their submarine fails to work, so the lights are also off, there are only emergency lights working or something. It is honestly one of my worst nightmares. This book is one of my worst nightmares, but it is just so beautiful because the way it talked about Miri and Leah's relationship, how Miri loves Leah so much, but she cannot bear to live with Leah, who is suffering this life-changing trauma, who is going through something that she cannot explain to Miri exactly, but Miri has to be understanding, and it's beautiful. It is perfect. I love this book. I don't remember why I didn't give this book exactly 5 stars, but it's just beautiful. It's just perfect. Now these are my top 8 books of 2023. The first book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I cannot understand why people say that Addie LaRue is such a forgettable and uninteresting character. I have never read about a character who is so hopeful, who has so much love in her heart, and who appreciates every form of art in the world. Like, she's just such a darling. How can you hate her? I mean, she has been living for 300 years and she still wakes up every day hoping that someone would remember her. Why do you hate her? Like, why? This book is about Addie, who makes this bargain with the darkness to help her escape her marriage, and in doing so she makes a deal where everyone in the world will forget her the instant they leave the room. Like, she meets people, they instantly like her, they love her, but the moment they leave the room, everyone just forgets that she exists, and she has to go through the conversation, go through meeting these same people over and over and over again because no one remembers her. 300 years pass like this, and she just wakes up every day hoping that one day maybe she would find a person who would wake up beside her and will not say that who are you, or will not look confused. He would actually remember her and remember all the time that they spent together. And she also appreciates art. She loves music, she loves dancing, she loves the nature, every form of art she adores. She has been living for 300 years and she still finds like a new beautiful thing in the world. And people don't like her. People think that she is uninteresting, and people think that her character is actually forgettable. She has been living for 300 years. Cut her some slack at least. Like, yeah, she's just wonderful. I love Addie and I remember her. The next book is Bunny by Mona Awad. I have actually already made a video where I talked about this book in detail, so I'll link that video in the description below. You can go watch that. This book is about Samantha, who goes to this art school with a clique of girls who are just, girly girls. Like, they love pink, they love cupcakes, and yeah, they are just desserts in human form. And Samantha does not like them. She honestly just criticizes everything that they do. But one day these girls invite Samantha to their home to participate in some fun activities. The day she goes to one of these parties, her whole life changes, literally. This is a horror / a book about friendship. I thought that this book was about finding a true friend, about finding your own place in the art school, because it also criticizes art schools, how these schools kind of make you lose interest in the thing that you love the most. It is also like a satire of female friendships. But yeah, it is also a book about how to make friends, how to find a friend in real world. I loved it. You would love it as well if you understand it actually. So give it a go, give it maybe 2 or 3 tries before you actually truly understand it. The next book is The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. This book is about this woman's mental health journey where she suffers from depression, but the people around her, like her husband, the husband's sister, the doctor, they don't consider this mental illness and illness in the first place. They think that the woman is suffering from hysteria, which was very common around that time period. She is not receiving help for the mental illness that she faces. I understood this book on my second read. I did not know that this book was about mental illness in the first place, but the second time I read it, I loved it. I also read All's Well by Mona Awad, and after reading that book, I could understand the point of The Yellow Wallpaper more clearly. If you don't understand what this book is about, maybe try to Google it first and then read it, so you could understand it and appreciate it better. The next book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This book reintroduced me to young adult books because I had completely stopped reading those books. I just thought that young adult books were so childish, were so immature, and most of these books were. But The Cruel Prince made me realize that some books are not like that. Some young adult books actually have content, actually have depth, actually have a story and beautiful, mature characters with whom I can actually relate. This book is about Jude, a human living in fairyland, where she's the only human along with a sister living amongst this bunch of fairies. And these fairies are mean, they are cruel, they are the exact fairies described in Wikipedia. She has to make a place for herself in fairyland amongst these fairies. It is the perfect book for fans of Maleficent, the movie. Like, if you loved the whole dark cottagecore scenery and atmosphere in the movie, you would really love this book. The next book is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Cruel Prince, and it is a continuation of that story. It was again really beautiful, really stunning story, and just perfect. I love how it was not too focused on the romance of the characters, and it just focused on the family politics, but it also made the politics interesting. So yeah, that was really fun. For a person who doesn't like politics, I loved this book a lot. The next book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know why I waited so long to read this book. Like, it was on my wish list for a really long time, but I was not buying it because I just felt as if it would not be as interesting. I don't like thriller or mystery books, and this is one of that. But then I finally bought it because it was on sale. I loved it. Pip as a character is just so interesting. Like, she's so quirky and fun, but also so smart. She's basically like Rory Gilmore. I have also made a video talking about this book. You can go see that if you want a detailed review. This book is about Pip, who is doing this project in a school where she chooses the topic of this infamous murder-suicide case in a town. This case is basically unsolved and she chooses to solve this case. This book was really fast-paced, and one of the things that I loved about this book was how the alternate chapters were basically her log entries, her journal entries of the murder. Each alternate chapter we got to see what Pip was actually thinking about the whole journey and situations that were happening around her. That part just made the book more engaging, more intriguing. The suspense, the mystery was amazing because I couldn't guess who the murderer was until the very end. A lot of the times what happens is that you can either guess way too easily who the murderer is, or you just start losing interest in thriller mystery books. But this was not like that. I was completely hooked on until the end, and yeah, I loved it. The next book is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I cried reading the ending of this book. It was just a roller coaster of emotions. At first I thought that this book was also going to be like another murder-suicide investigation journey, but it turns out that the whole trilogy, the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, just goes from darker to darkest. The last 20% of the book just has some situations, has some turning points that completely alters Pip's life. A lot of things happen, a lot of things are revealed that just made me too emotional, and I don't cry over a book. So yeah, it was really surprising for me to find tears at the ending. Like, yeah, loved it, adored it. The last book is White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This book is a letter to all those people who at one point have just felt really lonely and who have done nothing but dream about everything. This book has like 10 or 20 pages, which is monologue told by the character about being this lonely dreamer who has no friends. I'm sure that at one point you have or will face one of the lowest moments of your life. This monologue about being that lonely dreamer with no friends describes that moment perfectly. Go ahead and read it. It's a pretty short book, so you can finish this in one day. Yeah, read that book. These were my top 8 or maybe top 10, because there were 2 honorary mentions, books of 2023. I hope that some of these books also made your list, and yeah, I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.